I'm Tori.
And I'm Leah.
And I'm Remy.
And welcome back to the Boys Lie podcast.
A podcast where we talk about the craziest relationship stories you've ever heard, pop culture, and the piping hot tea of our lives.
So buckle up, enjoy the ride, and remember that Boys Lie.
So cute.
Boys lie. Boys lie.
Boys lie.
Boys lie.
Boys lie.
Them boys, they be lying.
Boys lie.
Hi, Remy.
Hi.
We're so excited to have you on today.
I'm excited to be here.
If you guys don't know who Remy is, she's honestly an icon and
Thank
does
you.
the best fashion hauls. And I wanted to share with you something, actually. I'm such a big fangirl of you.
Oh, you have it in your pocket. Yeah, if you guys don't know, this is my fan ring light 2-in-1. I bring it everywhere with me because I'm constantly hot. And it's, if you don't have it, you can get it on Amazon. It's the best invention ever.
No, it's seriously, I stole hers when we did our last campaign shoot to use like for my own TikToks. And I was like, this is fantastic. Like, it really is sick. How'd you come up with that idea?
Because I knew I wanted to. No, I didn't know I wanted to do it, but like I kept selling this like random Amazon fan and making 2 cents off it. And I'm like, okay, whatever, it's fine. I wasn't promoting the fan for any other reason other than like I use this all the time and like it's not embarrassing to like take 2 events. Like I have it at like Surf Lodge and wave it in the air. But then I was like, okay, one, I'm always holding it. So like what can I do to make it like
Even better?
So I was like, clip on your phone, made it like a circle for it so it's like around your camera, and then I was like, what can I add on it? I was like, should I do like a mirror, should I do a ring light, like trying to think like what would be the best, and I ended up doing the ring light. Like there's definitely some like little changes I want to do on it because this is like again, I did this for fun and then people actually were like liking it.
I loved the advertisement, the branding behind it. Like it couldn't be more of a perfect product.
Thanks.
I love it. It's a really smart idea, honestly. Like, you're a businesswoman.
Yeah, I guess I am.
I'm very into it. When did you hear Boys Lie?
My sister, and I was trying to think when, a really long time ago, but I don't remember exactly when. She was like, you don't wear that. I'm like, wait, what? Like, I don't wear anything cool. Like, I just like don't. And she was like, yeah, like a lot of like celebrities. And then my mom was like, yeah, like Nikki. No, I swear, my mom was like, yeah, Nikki like got me into it. And I'm like, what? Why are you guys being mean?
Oh, wait, I love that. I also like your family seems amazing.
Yeah, they're fine. Yeah, no. I have a good family. I feel like we're all very like similar, and then like we like butt heads a lot, like of course. But in the past, I would say like 4 or 5 years, me and Nikki got a lot closer. Like growing up, we did not get along. I think just like too close. We're like 21 months apart.
Is she older?
She's 2 years older.
Okay.
Everyone thinks she's younger, which is so interesting. I feel like I've been getting that more, and I'm like, what? I thought I'd give little sister. Yeah, like my dad, she's in Miami though now.
Okay.
I like to say Miami with her husband, which is wild. Like thinking she has a husband. I feel like we're children.
Well, shout out to your mom and sister for showing you Boys Lie.
Yeah.
And now we have you here sitting on our couch.
Wearing it.
We've been also begging you to come on our podcast, so I'm happy that we could finally make it work.
It was all about the timing because I've said no to everyone about podcast. I was like, I just like right now I have nothing to say, and then I like have so much to say, but I've just. I don't know. Like, I was just like, I think I need a break of like talking for a sec. And I think I was just thinking, I guess it's been a little over like 6 months to a year that I haven't done a podcast. So you guys are the first.
Yay!
I'm pretty sure like I initially DM'd Remy and I was like, I would literally give my left pinky toe to have you on. Like, I'm not kidding.
No, when you guys asked this week, I
Yeah.
was like, wait, I can't say no. And I'm also here and I extended my trip here and I'm not doing a million things. So I was like, no, like I got it.
We got so lucky.
We did.
Yeah.
We really, honestly, like, thank God you were here. And also, I know that LA has been like kind of like, for you.
For me.
Is it still You can be honest.
I've been enjoying. I think I'm just like extended my trip. My mom left like 2 days ago. We came for the Wicked premiere.
Yeah.
So like that, I feel like there wasn't a not good enough, but like an opportunity for me. I actually did come in the summer, but not even kidding, less than 24 hours. I was like, don't want to be here in the summer. I do think I enjoy more, which I've said every time I come here now, I'm like for sure being in Santa Monica area where I can walk because I'm just like a walker.
Yeah.
Being able to like see the water and like, and then now I switched to, I'm in West Hollywood. I like it, but I don't think it's for me.
Yeah. Being by the water is really, honestly,
It's way more peaceful.
Wait, where are you?
I'm in Beverly Hills.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like honestly a 10-minute drive from here.
I don't know. And I said when I was walking in here, I'm like, everything's fascinating to me here. I feel like a foreigner when I'm in LA. Like I
get
ask so
that.
many questions. I'm like, what do you do? Like, I just think it's so interesting. I was at an influencer event. I'm like, wow, I've never done that. I've gone to like events, but not like a casual day influencer event. And I went yesterday. I also thought it was going to be like a 10-person like Zen thing. And it was like a full on influencer event. And I was wearing like workout clothes, and I just like was like, what am I doing? And like some people were very dressed up. I'm like, this was not what I thought.
I feel like there's something every day here. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
and in New
influencer-wise.
York City there is too. I think I just don't like go as much to everything. But it was beautiful. Like I was like, what, you guys rent houses here
Yeah.
for like an event? Like that's crazy. I just was like, oh wow, I really and I also think that I know people. Like I'm like, oh, we've met before, right? And they're like, no, like nice meeting you. I'm like, oh, I've talked to you for years online, so I think I know you.
That's how I felt about you.
Oh yeah, I didn't say. Did we meet today? Like I didn't say nice to meet you because I thought I knew you.
Yeah,
guys.
no, that's how I feel too. It's so weird when going back to when you're like, what do you do? Like, I feel like that's the kind of like the consistent theme of like meeting people here, because like really a lot of people don't really do anything, and I don't understand how people afford their life.
So interesting.
It makes no sense to me.
blows my mind because rent here is really expensive.
Yeah.
I know New York it is too, but it's like astronomical here right now, and it's kind of like, how do people afford anything?
But I think that's what's fascinating to me is when I see so many people. I'm like, wow, you all live here, like in the city where there's fewer of us, and it's always the same people at the same events
In New York?
Yes.
Yeah.
So like when I see people here, and I'm like, oh wow, and I forget how many. So many people are here, and so many people are content creators, influencers, like in this
Yeah.
space, and I'm like, what do you guys all like do? Like, do you all know each other? Do you not? And I felt like no one that was there yesterday did know each other. And I'm
Yeah,
like, how do
that's
I
how
know
it
all
is.
of you? It's just so
They
interesting.
get really competitive. I feel like a lot of the influencers out here, so they kind of like separate them knowing each other because of how competitive they are with one another.
I was introducing people yesterday. I'm like, I don't even live here. I was like, do you know them? You guys should hang out.
LA is like, I feel like a lot of people are like in the nicest way, like stuck up. And also I do feel like LA is really big on like the micro influencer scene. I feel like they do really try to bring up like these micro influencers to like give them like a bigger platform. And sometimes those influencers are the ones that actually have like a decent amount of buying power compared to the people that have millions of
For
followers.
sure.
And that's something we've kind of learned, especially when it comes to like gifting.
Yeah, how do you choose?
At this point now, we have like I'm going to call it a laundry list of influencer celebrities where it's like, once they wear without even posting or tagging, I can see the sales like generate based off of just a simple post, because there's no real direct like link. We don't have an ambassador program. We don't like pay people to post.
Yeah, so like for example, when I wore that like a t-shirt that was through Revolve, do you see how people sell that, or no, that's just on their back end?
I mean, it really depends. Like if we still have it in stock, maybe, but usually like that day, like if someone does wear it, we can see like an influx of orders just for like that item only.
Now I want to look at that.
Yeah, it's been like trial and error too. Like obviously we've sent to people who don't have any buying power, but you just get like weird reactions here and there, and
Yeah, but also sometimes it probably is good, because even if you have someone that has like millions of followers and they don't have buying power, but like it's just like a good look for them to wear it.
totally. And then sometimes they'll have millions of followers and it's not a good look at all.
Yeah.
I'm just like, fuck, why did I
Yeah.
do this? Someone's getting canceled today.
For sure. Also, going backwards kind of with the LA thing, because I wanted to ask you guys this too, and I made a TikTok like randomly venting about it yesterday, but is it a thing in LA for people to like ditch the day of?
Oh, yes.
Well, I think it's really rude.
People will be like, let's go to lunch. And that is the most common thing in Los Angeles for someone to say to you. And you're like, I'll see you next year.
It's like, oh, actually, yeah, I'm not going to go. But like, do you want to like get together in a few days? And I'm like, what? No, this was in my calendar and I'm leaving in a few days and I made this time for you. That's actually really rude. But I held myself back from saying things to these people because I'm like, this might be an LA thing and this is why I'm from New York.
The East Coasters are committed. They're committed to their plans. They're not going to flake on you. And people are on time too in the East Coast way more.
Not me. I'm working on it. It's really bad.
You are though.
We had one person come on our podcast and like it was an amazing podcast, but they were like 2 hours late.
Was it Tana?
We love you, Tana. Yeah.
What'd she say when she walked in? Like,
Honestly, at that point, like we just like didn't care. We were just chilling anyways, and it was also being recorded at night, so we weren't like working at that time technically, like during the day. But if it's during the day and we're waiting for somebody when we could be like in meetings or canceled meetings because of it, like that's when it's like you're fucking wasting my time. Like I will never speak to you again, type of thing.
Yeah, and you only have so much time here too. So I feel like it's not cool.
Yeah,
to
make
do
the
that.
time.
no,
What's
like
your
I'm
excuse?
literally like, who I like write notes in my phone. I'm like, who has made more of an effort with me or who's been really trying to see me, and I'm gonna
Good.
plug them into this time. And then I'm like, wait, how dare you?
We need to start doing that because we're starting to work on our boundaries with people,
Yeah.
because now we're getting to a point where people will constantly be hitting us up and they'll be like, oh, my friend is so and so, like gift them something, and it's like
It's so annoying.
and so now we either don't respond or like we'll be like, oh, you know what, I'm so sorry, like kidding budget, so you can buy it off our site.
That's
like,
the most frustrating thing about what we do. Like the other day we got this random fucking text out of the woodwork. Like, I'm not going to name names, but like we hadn't spoken to this person in like months. And they had the balls to text us saying, hey, can I get like 2 sets? Also would love to take you girls out to lunch sometime. Let me know. And it's like, you're never going to take us out to lunch.
And you know what, my sister like puts this in my head now, and I used to get so mad at her for saying it, but she's like, you don't need to teach everyone a lesson. And I'm like, I know, but like I want them to know that that's wrong. She's like, but if they already don't think it is, like you're not going to change their mind on that. Because I usually like I'll have a novel coming your way, and I've done and I'm like, Remy, protect your peace.
Protect your peace.
There's moments where I do get weak though, where it's like when I'm in a weak mental spot, especially where there's moments where I do
snap and say something back. Of course, you're
I simply
allowed.
can't.
Because if you don't say anything too, like, and you are just like, all right, no problem, like you're gonna hold that resentment towards them, I think. And it's hard, and we talk about this all the time, and I say it again, but like it's hard running like this company, especially because it's like, do people want to be friends with Tori and Leah because of Boys Lie, or do they really want to hang out with us?
I always am like, what are your intentions?
Yeah, and you probably get it more than we do, honestly, especially with the amount of events that you go to, and like just how much you're in the public eye. Like you are famous, you are a public figure.
I'm like, so when you say the word famous, I'm like,
I think consider
you
you that though.
That's really crazy. I don't think I'm a celebrity, but I do. But I'm
Remy's a celebrity.
No.
I actually do think you are, and you get a lot of press about you, and I feel like if you're being talked about and you're attending all these events, you're getting invited to things like that, makes you like at this like different stratosphere that like so many influencers are trying to get to. And I think your journey and how you've gotten to where you are now is really fucking cool. You've always been authentically yourself,
and with so much purpose. Like the way you go about even talking about mental health, and even like being so transparent when you have days where you're struggling and just want to have like a mental breakdown. Like I'm fully overdue for one, honestly. I appreciate it so much because there's days where I struggle and I see that, and I just like want to cry with you and just be like, fuck. Like sometimes it's good to just get it out.
Thank you. No, I agree. I think that I never actually was talking to someone yesterday. I always was like a celebrity follower. Like I followed like the Kardashians growing up, like all these people, but I never followed influencers. It just wasn't a thing that I cared about. I didn't know who influencers were. And I feel like at the time too, when I would have, it would be more like fashion blogger influencers in New York City that I would know, but I just didn't care. So I think once I started getting a following, which was like, I would say it started like kind of blowing up like January 2021. And it was like very quick. And I signed with UTA and they were like, you could do this full time. I was still applying to like marketing jobs and PR. And I was like, no, like then everything would have been a waste. My internships and everything I did, like, what do you mean? And they were like, no, it could be something. But for me, I didn't want to continue unless it was I felt like I was helping someone in some way. And then once I started, very quickly, people started being like, I mean, yesterday someone came to me and was like, just want to let you know you changed my life. Like, even those are the things that I'm like, thank you. You don't know how much I appreciate you telling me that, because then it reminds me that I am helping people. And then even like you said, in terms of mental health, like I always want to make that a conversation, because once I had the opportunity and people were listening, I'm like, I'm going to talk about whatever I feel like I always want to talk about and had no one listening. And I just want to like do it now. And it's been mostly working in my favor. It comes with a lot of assholes and horrible people, but
no, that's really hard. I mean, we briefly touched on this on the podcast, but we went through a minor cancellation moment with the brand, and
you guys handled that very well.
Thank you. But it was the first time we had ever been flooded with these super, super, super hateful messages, and we honestly, both of us didn't handle it well at all. Like, I cried, I think, for a week straight. I'm not even kidding.
It was the first time we ever dealt with that, obviously. But we went on a walk. Actually, I came here. We went on a walk. We walked for like an hour and a half. You threw up. Like, she's puking. I'm like calling her publicist, and we're laughing about it now. But like, genuinely, like, it sucked. Like, it really sucked, especially because like we're friends with the person, and it was like a situation that like we didn't have any idea how to handle. There's no rule book on how you handle a situation like that, but getting all the messages and seeing all the comments and having to filter through those, it was like a nightmare. And
just things that that you totally aren't, but then it's like eventually it's just such a swarm of people that you start convincing yourself
100%.
Like, and people get so creative, like with the comments. I'm like blocking certain words and they're like recreating these words.
Oh, people love to recreate words. It's insane.
Fucking crazy.
So like, you care this much. Like, you care this much.
Yeah.
I watched a TikTok today that was like, oh, if someone is talking about you, think of it as like, it's because no one else cares to talk about them.
Oh, wow.
So they literally like they're like bored. The person was like so funny. They're like boring. Nothing. No one gives a shit. No one cares about them. So they need to talk about you to be interested.
That is so true.
Wow.
I always say, I'm like, you have to be a not normal person. Like, if I think something about someone, we all think things. I send it to my sister. Send it to someone, send it to my mom and be like, oh my God, this is an insane video. And I trying to be better at it, but like I do snap back at those people too. I'm like, I have to sometimes because I'm like, also when people message things too and they DM it and think you're not going to see it and then I'll respond. Sometimes they're like, so sorry, just wanted to get your attention. I'm like,
Oh my
people are
God.
sick.
I mean, think about Reddit snark pages. Like,
Dude.
the commitment, those are real fans. Those are true fans.
I know. I just like don't look, like pretend it doesn't exist because I think it's like actually the craziest concept in the world. And I think, yes, that you just have to tell yourself like those people are like actually so obsessed with you.
Obsessed.
That they spend their whole
They're
day
fans.
zooming into you, talking about you, whatever. And I'm like, this needs to be something that is completely out of my life because of course I used to just read it and cry. And I'm like, I will never do that again.
I can't imagine, like, is what even just us going through that like small thing. It wasn't that small, but like we're not even, Tori and I aren't influencers. Like we have the brand, but we're not like public figures. And I think like us going through something like that with like our brand, like on a microscopic level, like I can't imagine
What you go through.
Well, I just hate when like, I mean, I appreciate everyone's support, but like when my friends and family that aren't in this space, because I have a lot of people that are just simply like, most people in my life are not influencers or public figures. Like they're like, just don't look or don't comment or don't respond. I'm like, you don't get it. It like annoys me more when you say things like that because
they'll never understand it unless if they're in it.
yeah. And like and yes, could I turn off all of my comments? Could I like not say anything? I'm like, but the one thing I do feel like I have is like a connection with my followers. So like I respond to so many people. I like talking to strangers in my day. Like I have fun with it. I like seeing their excitement when I answer them. That like so many of my followers have helped me, make me like learn things that I never knew, or even just like things about myself, things that I like didn't like about myself that I'm from reading comments that are positive and stuff. I'm like, oh wow. So there's so much good in it too. It's like, I don't want to shut that off. Then why am I doing this? Because when people come up to me, they always say, I feel like I know you, and like give me a hug. And like, I want them to feel like they can and not be like afraid, like, so sorry, I can't, like, I don't know if I should go up to you.
That's so cute though, like that, like your fans and followers like actually come up to you, because it also probably is like scary to like go up to somebody. I mean, for me, like even like if I think about like a celebrity, like if I saw Justin Bieber on the street, like I would never go up to him, but like I would want to. But it's really scary.
I would want to. I actually think about that often. I'm like, what would I say? What would I do?
Yeah.
Like, what would be the time? I think you could also feel if it's the right time to go up to someone. Yeah. I literally posted yesterday because Adina Menzel was like next to us yesterday at a restaurant. And my mom, like, I could tell, like, had one martini and like kept like doing this, and I'm like, it was just like not the time.
Right.
And my mom was like, I don't care, I'm going to. And I was just like, I really don't think you should, but like, go off.
Yeah.
And then she did, and it's fine. She was like, I'm Adina and you're Adina, but like it's spelled differently. And like I'm like, she does not care. But I think that there's like a time and a place, so like you can feel someone's energy. I mean, I think I'm good. Like my mom always says, I can't believe the way you turn on, because I could be like, fuck you, mom, and like freaking out in the worst mood ever, like having the worst day, being attacked online. I'm like crying, and then like someone will come up to me like, are you Remy? And I'm like, yeah. And she was like, I can't believe how you do that, because you would never do it for us. Because I know that if someone is coming up to me, it's like they probably feel it's like my one opportunity. And I've met people where they've been rude and I will never let it go. And I'm like, wow, you were really rude. And I think you are an overall rude person. I get it. I hate when people then go, like, that's why I get so pissed more than anything. If people like made a video or said something, I'm like, you are a liar. Yeah. If they're like, Remy was rude or something. Because I'm like,
you're not.
I've never said, I would never say no to someone. I care so much that I'm just like, when I've seen that or people have said that, I'm like, liar.
Yeah.
Never
met you.
Lie, like you're wrong.
People are just doing it for attention. It's crazy what people will do for attention these days. I swear to God. Like they'll make things up out of thin air.
But like I definitely let people win sometimes. Like I'm literally just like, I get so upset about it. And I like, if I'm having already a bad mental health day, like it really brings me down. And then I'm like, I'm done with all of this. And then 2 days later, I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, but sometimes you need that. I told you I'm overdue. So like I feel like I'm bound for that to happen.
Honestly, so am I. So we should schedule ours so it doesn't happen at the same time, because that will be a fucking nightmare for our employees for sure.
People get so upset, especially during holiday season, which we're in right now, if they order something and within a 2-day window it doesn't get delivered to their front door, or if FedEx loses a package or something like that, and you want to help every single person to the best of your ability, but there's some things you simply can't do to like move faster.
How many people do you have working for you guys?
Full-time 10.
So there's someone answering those DMs, right? That's not you guys.
We do answer the DMs a lot of the time. Yeah.
Like one time, actually someone emailed us, and we always reference this because it was so funny, but they're like, where's my package? Move your asses, you lazy fucks. And me and Tori were just like already in terrible moods that day. It was like already like November, so like Black Friday, we were stressed, and we were like, what the fuck else can we do? Like they ordered this yesterday. Yeah. Like it's just hard because sometimes people just don't get it. Do you deal with the customer service for your fangirl stuff?
Well, this is like new for me with the fangirl stuff, but yep, my sister's been like on the account more trying to like help me. But yeah, she'll send me something and be like, I think you should definitely respond to this person. I mean, everything can be perfect, but I like to respond and like show I care. In the beginning, when I had a few that I could gift, I would like sent it. But yes, I get it. When you care about something, it's going to affect you in a certain way. So like I started panicking the other day once I saw like I think 5 total out of the 5,000 like didn't work, and I was like, this is not okay. And I was like, I need to like, this is like not okay, like freaking out. And then I'm just like,
it really is out of your control. But I'm sure that the people that you're speaking with in the DMs, like knowing that they're talking to you, that probably alone is making them feel
100%.
better.
Yeah. I'm like, they were like, is this really Remy? I said, it's me. And I sent like a photo
picture.
Yeah. I was like, I want them to know.
Yeah. They're probably like, oh my God.
Yeah, they're fangirling.
Yeah.
Speaking of one other thing, I fangirl over you. And even my husband does. Sometimes we'll watch these videos. So not to be weird or creepy, but we get a good, like the best laugh at this. Your Zara hauls, first of all.
Oh my God.
I know
so
I need
funny.
to do more like ASAP.
Favorite things ever. But second to that, I loved your quest to find a black bag.
Oh my God.
Actually, you're one of the first people to have this.
Wait, is it a Boys Lie bag? Oh my God, I'm so excited.
I don't even have one yet.
I don't either.
I'm so excited. Nikki's gonna be so jealous.
Boys Lie Manny Pack.
Thank you so much for this. I love that. So thoughtful.
So are you going to be restocking the fans? Because I'm going to buy one next. So let me know when you restock them.
No, they're stocked.
Oh, they're there now.
There's
Perfect.
still a few more on Amazon.
You should also like sell on Revolve or something.
I know. I feel like I was doing a lot of like projects and things. I launched with my dad that edited by Remy, which is at Sam's Club. It's doing super well. Very excited. I've never thought I would be selling to like Sam's Club. It's something so like new, but it's actually doing, which is exciting, like even better in the clubs, in
stores.
I'm not allowed to say in store. They say in club.
Oh, in club.
But we are doing a spring line, which I don't even think I've said yet, which is like super cute. Everything's under $30.
That's amazing.
Which is crazy. I've tried different price ranges from doing my Revolve line and just like seeing, but like I've never done under $30. So people were very excited about it. I had a launch party for it. I loved seeing how like my friends styled it and made it like look really cool. But anyways, like I was saying, a lot of things I launched the fans literally around that time because I was supposed to launch a fan 6 months ago. Things happened.
Your plate is full.
You're booked and busy.
You got this.
Well, it did all come full circle. Like going back to what you said too, like in the beginning when you met with UTA and they're like, you should be an influencer full time. You're like, well, what was the point of like the internships and all that stuff? Like now you are a businesswoman too. So like it really did all.
I do feel like it helped me so much actually. Like I feel like out of college, I worked for Bravo TV and
oh my God, so fun.
It wasn't fun, but like,
so sorry.
I mean, like I learned a lot. I don't regret it at all, but like I was like chained to a desk and an assistant and like it wasn't fun, but like I will never regret like any of those. I learned a lot. Like I'm friends with my boss now. And then I worked at Tidal, Jay-Z's company, doing a lot of, which was like opposite of NBC, like super not corporate, thrown in, but like learned so much there. And then I just think like so many things that I've learned even from internships and PR and marketing, whatever it was, like I actually think it's very beneficial to like be an influencer and have a business background or
for
have
sure.
a background in just any of that stuff. I think it's like helped me a lot. I think my team I always say wants to kill me, like my PR team, like they're like, Remy, like you're the only one that like needs to read all the press releases and stuff. I'm like, yup, like send me all of the information, because you know what? Like I've learned from things too. Like when I launched the Revolve line 2-3 years ago now, I don't even know like timing. The first one, and we announced it months before, and I said it was an inclusive line. It went up to a 3X. Oh my God, I got torn apart online. I learned like as I was new to this world that is not inclusive. You cannot say something is inclusive, I would say. And honestly, unless something's like more up to like 4, 5, 6X ideally.
Yeah.
So I'm very careful and like very involved. Like I am like overly involved with everything I do because like one little word or thing you say can really piss people off or change things. So even with this line I did with Sam's, we were only going to a 4X in store, 5X online. And I was like, wait, no, it can't.
Yeah,
I don't
you can't
wanna
say
it's
that, yeah.
inclusive. Can we push it to a 6X? And actually my dad got them to push it to a 6X pretty last minute. And I felt more comfortable and like, okay, we can call this inclusive.
Yeah. No, that's a kind of like, honestly, I totally understand that. That's how we are too. We want to see everything before it like goes anywhere because it is important. It's your brand literally. And it's like your image. And if
It's a reflection of you.
yeah, exactly.
100%.
And I think that's really smart that you do that because I can guarantee you there's like so many people out there that like don't even care to
so
look.
So many
Don't look,
meetings that
100%.
we get like set up for where people are like, I want to do it. There was one meeting, Anna Delvey's team reached out to us to do some sort of collaboration for it, which was crazy. And I was like, I'm going to entertain this just if she comes onto the email or comes onto the Zoom meeting with us. Hold on, wait. This is the craziest email I've ever received. Hold on.
I'm trying to think how that's even on brand.
They said our brands aligned, and me and Tori were like, first of all, that's offensive, but like, let's meet with her.
I got like the lie aspect, like if it was like analyze or something, but like no.
Oh my God. She goes, unfortunately, Anna is still detained by ICE by her own volition as she's fighting with an appeal to stay in the U.S. So we get people who like,
Have people reached out where do usually like their teams reach out or it's like they're like, I want to do this with you?
intermix.
Depends,
but
yeah.
we love challenging this in general because even with some of the celebrities or influencers who have reached out to us, when we jump on the Zoom call, it's very interesting if they're not on the first call. And I say that just by saying like, does that mean that they're actually interested in the brand? I don't know. But there is this one, I'm going to call her a celebrity. I'm going to say that she is as well. But she immediately jumped on call with us recently and in the first go. And her response rate is like so instant. I can tell she's so into the project. So I'm very excited to work with her.
And we like that too, like showing that she cares and her involvement like means more because it's like if we're just talking back and forth with like a team, it doesn't feel as like authentic because we don't even know if they like it if it's just their team, you know?
Yeah, I felt that way with the Megan Maroney collaboration too, though. Like she was very involved.
Yeah.
And her team was very involved and it was like fun to work with them. It wasn't like it was like a pushback
I
type
think
situation.
you just like need the talent to be very on board or it's just never, I think it's like never going to be what you want it to be.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. If I feel like with a brand that they're not aligned with something, like I'll say it. So like I'll be very honest, like we need to do this differently and maybe they don't like that. But I think that any of the decisions I make are like truly thinking like this will sell better.
Yeah.
This will be better for you, better for me. And I like being very involved.
You really are a boss bitch.
Thank you.
Very impressed.
Thank you so much.
And I feel like there's only good things like for you in your future, and I'm so excited to see what you do. Like I really am impressed by you, and I think you're super smart.
And you're witty and you're funny and
You've got
you're
all the
relatable.
things.
Yeah, you have everything in your box.
Wow, guys.
It's been cool for me to also see you grow like over the years, like
Thank
what
you.
you've done. And I feel like it's not every influencer that like actually takes like their platform and then uses it to like do better. And I feel like you've done that. You've captured your audience really well. It's really rare, and I feel like it's really cool. We're
So
kissing your ass, but I'm
appreciative.
dead
You guys
serious.
are kissing my ass.
love
Thank
you.
you.
We do love
Big
you.
fans. On that
We
note,
should hop into story time.
if you guys have a Boys Lie story you'd like to share on the Boys Lie podcast, please submit them to boyslieofficial.com. And if your story gets chosen to be read on the podcast, you get a free Boys Lie sweatsuit. But
Woo.
today is going to be super exciting because we are reading our November giveaways. So if your story gets read on this podcast specifically, you guys get the entire November collection.
And a $500 gift card to our store. So big winners
Love
here.
that.
Really, really hard to pick the winners too. Tori and I both sifted through like honestly thousands of entries. It took a long time, but we feel like these stories really kind of just knocked it out of the park.
I needed like 5 Adderall to read my
Yeah.
email. It was crazy.
Same.
How do you guys pick these?
We just sift. I literally read every single one. When we were reading through these giveaway ones, I kind of narrowed the giveaway entries down to, I think, how many did I give you last night?
I think like 20.
20. And I was like, Tori, I just need your help picking. Because sometimes after I read them, it's like only one perspective. So I need like...
So then I'll take like the narrowed down amount and I'll just rip through them. These were the best ones, or I felt like the most jaw-dropping.
Yeah. So the themes of this giveaway were the worst place you had a public argument or the cringiest attempt at being romantic.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, if you want.
And then 1, 2, 3.
Sure. First winner.
The worst place my ex and I had a public argument was on a roller coaster ride. This was really embarrassing because there were so many people around us at the time. It started when my boyfriend and I went to a theme park to have ourselves a fun day. My boyfriend really liked roller coasters and I wasn't a huge fan because I get motion sickness. He begged me to go on one roller coaster with him, to which I eventually agreed. We're waiting in line for about 2 hours before sitting and strapping ourselves in. My boyfriend had his phone in his hand and was reaching towards his pocket to zip it in. And that's when I saw his ex's name pop up on his screen with a preview saying, "Hi, can we hang tomorrow?" As he zipped it in his pocket, I asked him why he got a text from his ex, and he said, "Don't worry about it." I reached over to his pocket when the ride staff came over to put my harness on me so I could no longer reach for my boyfriend, and I was locked in. I kept trying to look over my harness to talk to him, and then he started yelling in front of everyone, basically calling me ridiculous and crazy, which just pissed me off even more. It was like he was taunting me while I was basically trapped. Other people were around us waiting in line, and they clearly saw our interaction. I was already so nervous to get on the roller coaster ride, and now my heart was beating even faster because of this. The ride took off, and the mess of emotions I was feeling were unreal. I immediately felt sick to my stomach. The whole ride, I was telling myself not to throw up. Then we finally get off the ride, and I ran to the nearest trash can to puke. My boyfriend came to console me and rub my back as I was puking, and I swatted his hand away and kept asking him what the text was about. At that point, there were hundreds of people walking past us, and we were arguing while I was throwing up. I felt unbelievably sick, embarrassed, and confused. We left immediately after this, and I eventually came to find out that him and his ex had still been seeing each other. The humiliation I felt was next level. Damn. I also don't mean to laugh. I could just picture myself being locked into a ride, like screaming at someone, not even because I'm like on the ride, and then immediately
That
just
sounds
vomit.
horrible.
I mean, I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably not even get on the ride in the first place because, like, I would already be wanting to puke from seeing that my boyfriend was.
Wait, I wouldn't get on the ride.
No, and then throwing up in front. Also, throwing up in front of people, like in a public place, like is like one of my worst nightmares. I don't know why.
I'm so fearless when it comes to that. I throw up everywhere, I feel like.
I actually think like I also have not thrown up in the public, knock on wood, and I don't think I'd like that.
I have a phobia, very big phobia. So like, I don't. It's hard for me to even throw up myself. Like, I actually just got better
No,
at
I
it.
feel like there's a lot of people like that. Yeah.
I got way better at it. Tori's actually the only person that I can be around while she's throwing up because she's a silent puker. I don't get it. Tori's like, like, and I'm just like, what the, like, you wouldn't even know she was throwing up. But like, I think for me, it's like the sound.
You don't need to keep talking about it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's okay.
I'm
You're
starting to
sweating.
sweat.
You're like
Give me
starting
the
to
fangirl.
crumble. Yeah, like, literally, here you go.
Thanks.
Oh gosh.
But that works really well. I feel better.
yeah, like I just would be like, we are not going on this, like tell me right now like what's going on, or like give me your phone. Like I just would never allow that to even go on further, and I also would not let him touch me or try and console me. Like that's just making me triggered.
Give me your phone is something I think I would say too. I'd be like, show me everything then. And that would be the end of us probably.
If he wouldn't give me the phone, even while we were just like sitting there, I'd be like, I'm off this fucking ride immediately. I would literally tell the staff, no, I'm sorry. I'm not ready for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe she was in shock, but like no.
All right, Remy, next story, next winner.
Okay. You may need to buckle up for this one. While it's not my own story, my aunt asked me to share it for her, and it has to be one of the craziest stories I've ever heard. She's a therapist and one of those angelic, gentle souls who listens to people and really wants the best for everyone. A few months ago, she took on a new patient, a woman who seemed so broken and desperate to be understood. Little by little, the woman started unloading about a married man she was seeing and how it was beginning to eat her alive. Every session, she would go into excruciating detail how mind-blowing the sex was, the cheesy love notes he'd write, how he told her she was the only one who truly got him. My aunt just listened, being supportive and doing her job. Isn't this against like HIPAA or whatever? Then one night, my aunt and her husband went out for dinner. They just sat down when her patient walked in. Her face twisted when she saw them together. Oh my God. And without a second's hesitation, she stormed over, glaring at my aunt's husband, who went pale. Ignoring my aunt entirely, she sneered, "So this is why you've been dodging me." It clicked her patient's soulmate. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It clicked that her patient's soulmate and person going to leave his wife was my aunt. But it got worse. My aunt sat there paralyzed as her husband looked dead in her eyes and said with a coldness she'd never seen, said, "I'm leaving you. I love her."
Oh my God.
He took her patient's hand, but before they could walk out, her patient turned to my aunt, fury in her eyes, and yelled, "I can give him what he wants, and I can fuck him better than you ever could." On top of all this, my aunt is not allowed to speak about any of this because it could break patient confidentiality and she could lose her job. That's insane.
What would you do if
Oh
you're
my God.
sitting?
No,
if I was sitting with Michael and some girl that I've been talking to on Boys Lies DMs, right, like goes up and is like, "I've been fucking your,"
Like, because you can't say that's my patient, right?
I mean, honestly, I think that is one of those situations that I probably would freeze and not know what to say, because it's like, what, she doesn't even need to say like, that's my patient. Like, it's like, clearly she knows.
Yeah.
He's all in it with her. I would just be like,
That's fucking crazy.
I would be floored. I don't know what you do. Do you spill your drink on him at that point? Like
yeah, like there might be like, or him, her. She sounds worse. I mean, I think they both sound horrible.
Yeah.
But like for her to say that also after like, and she was saying that her aunt is like the sweetest person, like so
Yeah.
kind, listening to her. Ugh, sounds like an online troll.
well, at least you'll have a sweatsuit for you and your aunt.
What's also crazy that this woman paid, like the woman paid for sessions with her aunt too. Like, I don't know.
That's what I mean by like beat him
fucking
to the
crazy.
bank. Like, but fuck, that's crazy.
I'm so sorry to your aunt. All right, here's the last story and the last winner. And it starts, does driving down the highway count as arguing in public if you have a police officer stop to get involved? My former ex of 9 years and I were on a road trip to Colorado, and we had been on the road for a few hours. The energy was high due to the Vyvanse that we had both consumed in an effort to stay awake during the overnight drive. Suddenly, and for who knows what reason, though I'm certain it was his fault, we found ourselves in an emotional screaming match while I was behind the wheel about if we should have or could have left earlier. And my prescription drug brain was so upset and flustered that I had begun to cry. Typically, if I were to get upset during a fight, it would have led to nausea and vomiting. So in an effort to collect myself, I pulled the car over on the side of the dark highway just out of Kansas City, Missouri, I think. Yeah.
Is it Mo?
Yeah.
I think it's Missouri.
Okay. I need to go back to school.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. Like Montana. I don't know. Okay.
Watch it beat Montana.
It's MO. Is that Missouri? I think it is. Whatever. Who cares? They're in Kansas
Oscar
City.
doesn't even know.
We still had 10 hours to go and really needed to get our shit together. And I couldn't be out here driving in the middle of the night as a hysterical crying mess. I was doing some breathing exercises when my ex decided that he needed to get out of the car to relieve his bladder. Cue the cherries and blueberries that decided to illuminate our vehicle at that very moment. Seemingly all at once, my ex hopped back in the car and Mr. Officer walked up to my window on the driver's side. It was clear from my swollen face that I had been crying, and Mr. Officer asked me what we were doing parked on the side of the highway. My ex began to answer the question, and Mr. Officer cut him off saying, I didn't ask you, I asked her.
This gives Gabby Petito.
Yeah. I explained that we were on a road trip and had gotten into a heated argument and that I didn't want to be driving while distraught. The officer quickly glanced at my ex, and with direct eye contact and a strong emphasis on the last word, he looked at me and said, "Are you okay?" It was at that point I realized that the officer thought I could have been in some sort of trouble. I reassured him that our argument was a mutual one and that I was okay. Mr. Officer seemed slightly unimpressed after that, but he told me that he would follow us up to the next truck stop so that we could pull over there instead. So we complied with the relocation, and as soon as we got to the gas station, we almost got in another fight. It was quickly dissolved after coming to the realization that we were both pinging from the V and that we just needed to shut the fuck up. Got some gas station snacks and we drove to Colorado as intended, but not happily ever after. I broke up with him years later due to his substance abuse, and as I write this from our old condo that I now reside in alone, I realize that I'm wearing one of the first Boys Lie sweatshirts I purchased 4 years ago. On the back, it says, "What you don't change, you choose." Read that again. I struggled to leave the relationship for a long time, and while we were still together, I found myself buying and wearing certain boys-like clothes that felt representative of the cycle of pain that we were in. Heartbreak Club, temporary thoughts, perpetual feelings, I hope you know how loved you are. It was almost as if my clothes were saying the things that I was feeling, but I couldn't bring myself to say out loud. My feelings eventually manifested into reality, and after 1 year of healing and living by myself, I have never felt so free. P.S. Pictured is my well-loved I Choose Me sweatshirt that I had to take off for the photo op, and it has got me through a lot. Thank you.
That's so sweet.
It was really sweet.
So sweet.
I mean, I think it takes like a lot of courage to like leave somebody or leave a situation that you feel like isn't for you, and especially like if it's somebody that like you do love. I'm happy that you wearing our clothes could like get you through that and like make you feel better, and I feel like the messaging that we put on our stuff, it's like that's we hope it resonates with people out there that are going through these tough things.
I get it, being in a relationship that's toxic and you just want it to work out so badly, but you're also just so comfortable in what you're doing that like you just stay for so long.
I also think that you just think that like you're not gonna get through it, but I think like if you read stories like that and hear from anyone that I would say is like probably like almost a year out of it or something, it could not be a year, it could be 2 years, 3 years, like eventually you'll be like looking back and be like, what was I doing? And I'm feeling proud of I can't speak for everyone, but I'm proud of myself. I've learned a lot, whatever it is, and you will get to a better place. Like you're going to always be in a better place than I think thinking like, should I get out of this? Like, I think even if you're questioning
If
yourself,
you're questioning it, yeah, even a little bit. Like, you shouldn't be questioning something, even like the slightest amount. I think
No.
I mean, obviously, like, people get in fights. Like, there's arguments that are going to be had in any relationship that you're in. But it sounds like here, obviously, it was like way bigger than that. But it's really hard to leave. And I think it's also hard for people too. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, why didn't you just leave? Like, it sounds like it's so easy, but it's really not.
Also, you have no idea like how tied you are to the person either. Like, is your stuff at their place? Do you guys share a pet together? Like, there are people who really like,
You have children.
yeah, tie the knot without even like fully tying it, or they do, and then they're like, fuck, I'm trapped in this marriage. I have 3 kids. Like, what am I going to do after this? I haven't worked in years.
Speaking of like before when we were like commenting, or you were like, I was going to comment on someone saying a mean comment to you, when like people were commenting on Brie Chicken Fry's situation the other day about being out of her relationship, but obviously he was the one who ended it.
Yeah.
People were like, but you would have stayed, like, or you did stay, or you stayed for a year. And I remember I commented back on like something on that post, just being like, you never know what someone's relationship is like.
No.
You also are so blinded, which I've learned too. Like, when you're so in love, like, I used to look at people like, that's so embarrassing of them. Why are they in this relationship? But that's because I never was in one. And I think once you experience it, you realize that you're blinded by a lot of things when you love someone.
And you want it to work so
you want
badly.
it to work. Like, it doesn't make you a weak person, and you can't look at someone and be like, wow, they stayed, because like the point is now she's not in it and she's already learning from that. So like, it doesn't matter how long you stay. It just matters that eventually get out of it.
And you evolve from it. Now she'll never make that mistake twice.
Yeah.
And he also, like, from what I've seen and heard, is like he like literally like isolated her from like all of her friends and family. So like, at the same time, if people are like, well, why didn't you leave? Like, it's like, she honestly, that's like being sometimes
that
it
was
is like
her
being
main
trapped.
focus.
Yeah.
Like, you want to be with this person.
Yeah.
So like, you're not thinking of that in the moment. Like, you literally like wake up after and you're like, what was I doing?
Yeah. But like you said, like, if you haven't gone through it yourself, then like people who are commenting that, like, they just don't understand it. And hopefully they'll never go through it.
Wait, totally. That was me. Like, I think for like 27 years, I was looking at a lot. I also, when people would go through breakups, I would be like, all right, get over it. Like, in my head, I would never say that to someone. But like, in my head, I'm like, okay, like, I just saw it as like so different because I never was in one. My sister was always like a relationship girl, and like always kind of went from one relationship, then was in another long-term one, like had a few. So like, I'm just like, oh, now I get it. And like, you can never judge someone's like healing process too. It takes everyone a different amount of time.
Here's an interesting question. Would you take the 12 mil to never say anything ever about the relationship?
Listen, I wouldn't, but I also think it's hard because like, a lot of people are saying, like, when I was talking to her about it, like before she even like said that all happened, I was just like, no, fuck the 12 million, whatever. But I also have to say, like, I am in this like definitely like a privileged, blessed situation where I'm making money off of brand deals and all these things, and I think she is too. So in her head too, she's like also like,
you'll get that 12
you're
million.
gonna. I'm not saying like
And
100%
more.
everyone that's in this position is
yeah.
gonna make 12 million. I haven't made 12 million, but it's like, all right, like, you'll
be just fine.
You'll be
She'll
just
be
fine.
fine,
But
yeah.
yes, there are some people that I feel like are like, what? That's like a joke. Like, I'll take the 12 million. I think everyone has their own situations. I think that I'm definitely like proud of her that she didn't, and like felt it was more important to come out of this. And I think more important things will come out of this because she didn't.
And just speaking up for like the rest of the crowd who does need to hear, like, the 12 million might not be worth it even if you are in a different situation or boat.
I was watching the BFFs pod, and I think Dave said, like, she texted like, fuck the money, like, we're going to war. And I was like, chills. Like, that's iconic. And I think that she is really strong for that too. $12 million is obviously a lot of money. I honestly don't know what I'd do. I wasn't in her situation, and I don't know. I don't know what I'd do, but I think that what she did really proves a point, and also like is like a fuck you to like, you can't buy me, and also like, I'm gonna fucking say whatever the fuck I want.
Also, I love that like, he's clearly been in this situation with other people that have signed an NDA and have gotten money and like can't say anything, and she was just kind of like doing it for them too. So like, good for her.
Yeah. Dave Portnoy saying, I'm going to war for someone. Everyone should be shaking.
No, same.
in
Like,
their
I want him
boots.
to be like my daddy. Like, I want him to be standing up for me too. Like, it really is scary.
Yeah.
So luckily she has like everybody in her corner, and only good things happening for her. But Well, anyways, Remy, we love you so much. This was amazing having you on. I'm so fucking happy we made it work.
Thank you for having me. Love
Thank
you guys.
for your time. Thank you for everything you do.
you.
And keep doing you. Don't let anyone take away your shine.
You guys too.
Facts. On that note, buckle up
Enjoy the ride.
and remember that
Boys lie. Boys lie.
Boys lie.
Boys lie, y'all.
Boys lie.
Them boys, they be lying.
Boys lie.